first thing is on the very front. You'll find more information on our work day. Try to talk that up a little bit. That'll be on the 19th on Saturday. 8 a.m. we're going to meet, kind of have some light snacks and refreshments, some quote breakfast, that sort of thing. Kind of get started, and we'll begin work at 8:30. I'm sure some go-getters will already be doing some stuff, but you got a list there, some things we're kind of looking at to replace. I want to fix the handicap ramp on the back of the Hayes building, doing some doors in the choir room, painting the food pantry. A lot of stuff, a lot of projects really going on that day. So we're going to need all hands on deck. And if you're able, we would love to have you join us and take part in that. We'll try to schedule even more work days in the future. We're trying to spruce up a little bit and fix some things that need repaired and some things that have been overlooked. So the 19th, just keep that in the calendars, and hope to see you there. I'm going to show you two things on the inside. Again, you can see all these for yourself, but I do want to make sure I mention them from the pulpit as well. On the inside, underneath our service order, a couple of things. Our food pantry. I want to give you specifics so that you'll know. Those are some very specific things that you can bring. You can drop them off in the vestibule at any time or bring them by the church if you'd like. Those are items that we really use and go through quite a bit in feeding our neighbors. There's one thing on the bottom of that list. It says granola/fruit, and it says comma cereal bars. Ignore that comma. Not granola/fruit, but like granola bars, cereal bars, fruit bars, that sort of thing. I don't want you to go pick up a bunch of apples and then wonder why they didn't get used. So that's something I really wanted to make you aware of. Those are some very, very, very specific things. If you have other stuff, I'm not sure they'll get used. But in terms of just maintaining consistency, this is kind of what we give out. All the water is also one that they can on there that we go through quite a bit. Under that, you'll see a note about the highlight. I understand people enjoy reading the physical copy of the highlight. One thing we're really committed to this year is we want to reduce it. We are spending so much on paper. We go through a lot of paper in-house. So one thing we want to offer to you is receiving the highlight newsletter by email. If you don't mind reading online or you don't mind getting that electronically, let me know. You can call the office and let me know. I've also provided her email address so you can tell her and she'll add you to the mailing list. We're going to try to reduce that down a little bit and stop using as much paper as we typically do. But just either let me or Lou know, and we'll be happy to get you signed up on that mailing list. We went over some figures for a recent deacons meeting, and you'd be surprised how much one person who receives it via email instead of physical copy saves the church. It's a lot of money. We'll also begin posting the highlight online on our website, orrvillebaptist.com. We'll post it on Facebook, that sort of thing. So there's other ways you can receive the highlight if you'd like to. So make sure that option is available to you. On the very back, you'll see our schedule for the week. Monday, tomorrow, for the office prayer group, we'll be meeting at 6 p.m. in the Hayes building. On Wednesday, we're going to begin a new book. We just finished a series on basically things that happen in the church during the worship service. Very edifying, very helpful for, I hope, many, very helpful for myself. So we'll begin walking through a new book on Wednesday. Our typical way about doing things, we'll do a type of series, asking maybe some important questions, and we'll kind of focus in on a book, back and forth. So now we'll take some time to walk through a book on Wednesday. So a great time to join with us. Once you know you're invited to that, it's also in the Hayes building on 6 p.m. on Wednesday. The rest of it, you can go through, you can see the schedules, the depositors, ushers, all that good stuff, find out all that information. Continue to lift each other up in prayer, go through your prayer list throughout the week. You'll notice, really the past 2 weeks, and today we have low attendance again today. A lot of people are sick. This December has hit. A lot of people are now carrying over into the new year with January. A lot of people are getting hit by this so-called crud that's been going around. So just lift each other up. Reach out to each other, see if you need something from a church member or family or friend, that sort of thing. Just go through that prayer list. Pray for those with very specific needs, and then of course just remember each other as this cold weather has really hit a lot of people in a difficult way. So care for one another, look out for each other, and of course pray for them. We begin our last chapter of Acts. I told you I don't want to do this. I want to stay in this book for a long time. And some of y'all are like, we've been in it a long time. It's I posted online last night. This is the 90th sermon from this book. February will be 2 years. And I don't want to stop. I've grown, and I hope that you have too, and has meant so much to me. Has edified me and has done a lot for me personally, and I pray it has been fruitful for you as well. We're going to continue on. I had verses 1 through 10 last week, and we finished after verse 2. So the goal is verses 3 through 10. That is our goal. I think we will meet that goal. It's straightforward, and I love these messages very, very much. The time we're about to have them. Before we get into some text, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I like to ask those. Who's had by worldly standards or by spiritual? In fact, I kind of want to go that route anyways. If you can just flat out, without me giving too much detail, who's had a good week? Anyone had a good week?
Blessed.
The best?
Blessed.
I like that.
Blessed.
Blessed. Same thing, right? Okay. Has anyone just flat out, because this is church, I've long said this should be the most transparent place on the planet. It really should. I read in the scriptures about how we're to just cast burdens. I mean, we're walking through life together. There's going to be some bad things. Can anybody just honestly say, you know what, I had a bad week?
Bad week?
Yeah, bad week. we've got one. And it might be that we're all just super spiritual, and we don't have bad weeks. By worldly standards, who's had a bad week? I'll be honest, I've had a couple bad days. Maybe not a bad week. I've had a couple bad days. I see a few that are a little bit more. There's one more.
I did, but it's just, God always turns around for good.
Don't be taking my sermon away from me, man. So we've got good weeks, we've got bad weeks. Who can honestly tell me, I'm just playing with you again. Who can honestly say, God's doing something this week, has done something this week, and I can brag on him. I can attribute it to saying, God has done this. Has anybody experienced that, or are you going through that, something that's maybe started this week? Can anyone say that? Can you raise your hand if that's true? All right, who wants to testify? Anybody willing to? Say it again?
I said we're all healthy.
We're all healthy again. Anybody willing to give a quick something? I mean, right here on the spot. Carol. I'll come to you, Carol. You don't have to wear it, but you can at least speak into it.
On the sign on the marquee it says go and tell. And I have been convicted to go and tell. So when I go, yesterday I was on the desk and there was a young man that doesn't know me. God said, tell. So we started a conversation across there. I asked him how he was doing and he said he was trying to cut wood before the rain came in. And I asked myself, now, do you live around here? And he said, well, yes, sir, I did. And he told me where it turned out he was one of my neighbors. And I asked him, I said, well, now, are you related to, and I told him, Chester Gardner. And he said, look at me, he said, well, that's my dad. And I said, okay. I said, well, when my mother was alive, my mother baked sweet potato pies. And I said, we would go out on Saturday, and we would go to our neighbors and introduce ourselves and invite them to church and give them sweet potato pie. And I said, we visited your daddy and gave him sweet potato pie. And he was like, really? And I said, yes. And I said, now tell me about your dad. I said, how's he doing? And he told me that his mother had passed away, and his dad had remarried, and he now lives where his daddy did. And I was like, so you're my neighbor, so I get to add you to my prayer list. So I said, now, do you go to church? And he was like, well, yes, I do. And he came in and he said, let me give you my card. So and I said, well, I was going to invite you to my church. So I invited him to my church. So we had a good time at the gas pump yesterday. Go and tell.
You know, I believe in what we call the sovereignty of God, and I believe that God is really good at what He does. I'm really a firm believer that God is good at being God. And you know, there's people can say, you know, just all these things are coincidences, and I don't look at things and believe that God is just a God of putting coincidences together. I think He's just perfect at being God. Did God create the sweet potato just to have that conversation? You know, I'm not so sure I'm going to go that far, but you know, the thing is, I'm convinced that God is the God who puts things in order, who puts pieces together intentionally. There's a reason why Carol was put in that man's day, to ask how he was doing. You do not know what people are going through. In fact, he may have needed just that one person to ask how he was and to reach out to him and to show Christ to him in that way, just keep him from maybe doing something he shouldn't have done that day. You never know. I believe that God is, that's not a challenge for him to do these things, put these things together. He uses all circumstances. He establishes all circumstances. He puts things in order that we say, oh, we were just only using this, and we realize quickly, no, God is in control of these things. As we're going through Acts, I'm seeing more and more of these pieces come together. And there's a reason I asked someone to testify. Now, I'll also ask you, hearing the testimony that Carol gives, and hearing her give that story. It may seem innocent about sweet potatoes and, it's just kind of fun that you got to run into a neighbor that you had a connection with. But for many people, they hear that and they say, wow, God at work. Anyone moved by what Carol is saying? Is it numb? Are we numb to what God does in the world? Are you numb to what God is doing and has done? Are you numb to what Carol says? Or do you worship the Lord in these things? Do you give Him praise? Do you give Him honor? Do you give Him glory? Even when it's happening to someone else, can you hear that and say, God, you are so good? Why is she even testifying in the first place? Why are we testifying in the first place? And of all the things I did not plan Carol. This is legit. I just simply asked. Of all the things that she brings up, she says, go and tell. That whole go and tell mentality is, yes, for a missionary culture, for us to go and tell the gospel. We should also be people coming and telling when we come together. I don't want to boast in myself. We don't want to boast in ourselves, but we do want to brag in the Lord. And there's a reason why we testify. There's countless things that have happened in your morning already, in your previous week, in which you can testify to the Lord's goodness and have a platform to talk about how good He's been and how He's done things that only He can do, that we are powerless to do. I believe we start to see some of that this morning as we walk through the Word and we walk through Acts. I want us to think about this specifically. I love these messages, and I love these straight-to-the-point, on-the-nose sermons. Again, we've done context so much about what's happening because they've been on a boat for what seems like 2 months now for us in our time. Paul and his crew, he's a prisoner, right? He's still a prisoner. I did a lot of this last week. He's still a prisoner. He's still a man in chains. And literally at the moment, he's a man that is not free by the sense of what we mean as free. Now, as a Christian and spiritually, he's as free as it gets. He cannot be more free. But in terms of physically, worldly, yes, he is a man that is considered a prisoner. They have found themselves shipwrecked on the island of Malta. And it's an interesting place. We talk about how it's a port city to get to Rome. They were aware of Malta. The crew had been to Malta. I can guarantee you, on that journey to Rome, you would stop at Malta. But when they first arrive, they're not familiar with exactly where they are. And it's an amazing thing. When they first see the land, they're wondering, where have we come up to? You needed to get to Malta to get to Rome. And of all the places that their ship is spun out to, they arrived at a place called Malta that they needed to be at anyways. God is incredibly good at what He does. So they wash up in Malta. They meet the natives, and the natives are incredibly nice to them. I mean, they're really outgoing. We talked a lot about this last week, about morality, and even the lost, even the unsaved. They can be kind. They can be nice. We should not think otherwise. The problem is, we have a reason why we exhibit niceness and kindness and good deeds. Most of the world and the rest of the world, they cannot explain the purpose behind it. It doesn't mean much to simply say it's just a good thing to do. It really serves no purpose. About God, there are no morals, there's no moral code, and I'm a firm believer, and I'll die on that hill. It won't bother me one bit. So all the natives are incredibly outgoing. They start building fires for nearly 300 people. This is a lot of people. And they all survive, by the way. Again, God is still incredibly good at keeping His word. Exactly as Paul said would happen. No one died on this ship. And yet the ship is lost. It's been battered. It's torn. It's sinking. It's gone. But all the life that was on board is still there. We will address a couple of misconceptions in this time, too. I don't want to spend forever on those, but join me in Acts 28. We're going to start at verse 3. I'm really going to split this into 2 sections. That's it. Major 2 points with one gigantic truth that I want us to think about this morning. We'll get through verse 10, at least we should. We'll leave here understanding better about what's taking place in the book of Acts. So, join me in Acts 28, starting in verse 3, and I'm going to read all the way down to verse 6. So it's a little bit of a read. We're going to go ahead and cover all this in one shot, okay? Word of God says the following. But when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened itself on his hand. When the natives saw the creature hanging from his hand, they began saying to one another, "Undoubtedly this man is a murderer, and though he has been saved from the sea, justice has not allowed him to live." However, he shook the creature off into the fire and suffered no harm. But they were expecting that he was about to swell up or suddenly fall down dead. But after they had waited a long time and had seen nothing unusual happen to him, they changed their minds and began to say that he was a god. What is Paul doing in verse 3? I'm kind of overwhelmed by this. He's just a man. He's not a god. He's just a man. Every time I see Paul, I see a man who cannot stop. He just does not know how to quit. He has been at sea. He is obviously very hungry. He is weak. He's been on this journey for so long. There's times when they thought he was going to go. He'd be dead. Paul is a man who does not live in luxury. He's a prisoner. Of all the people that should be downtrodden and sad and sick and weak, malnourished, it should be Paul. And yet, as you see on the ship, we've gone through the past 2 chapters, as he's on this ship, he's the first one running to the first sign of trouble. He's the one keeping things in order. He's the one that when even the captain and crew are beginning to panic, he's the one who calms everyone down and says, "Come and listen. I have something to share with you that God is going to do. We're all going to make it." Now hold fast is the message. Hold fast. Stand your ground. Because we're going to lose the ship, but we're all going to survive this. You know, it's the prisoner, it's the lowly, it's the nobody in the Apostle Paul. It's he who is the one coming to the first sign of trouble to make things right. And it's not he that's making things right, it's the God that lives and breathes and works through Paul. That is pouring all things together and pouring out blessing. And so they arrive and all these people are wet. Remember, it's raining, it's a hurricane. It's raining, it's wet, it's cold. They have these giant fires going on. And who again is the one going out and gathering sticks to keep the fires moving? None other but the Apostle Paul himself. You know, he's a leader, he knows the leader, he understands his call to be a leader, he gets it. He also understands that there's times where you've got to do the dirty jobs. Jobs that no one else wants to do. I've seen the good in this and I've seen the bad in this. There is a con to this as well. And a con to this leadership style. I have seen my mentor, the one who discipled me the majority of my life, my biggest influence in terms of pastoral ministry. I have seen him absolutely crucified in the nicest, kindest way. By doing every single detail, taking care of every single bit that there was to take care of, and letting no one else take part of it. And it absolutely brought him to a crisp. It perked him up. And I pray that he would not, if anything, he would like for me to use this as a platform to be able to share how things can sometimes go. Towards the end of his ministry, he used the words failure. 22 years being in one place, he said, I failed in so many ways. And number one on his list, number one, was trying to do it all. However, I've never seen anyone like him in my life, except for the Apostle Paul, be so willing to get his hands dirty, get his knees dirty, get his feet dirty, to do stuff that nobody else wanted to do. Did it happen to an extreme? Yeah, it did. He was doing so much that he was growing and nobody else was.
The leader always follows.
At times, absolutely. And yet, there's a problem in this type of leadership style. You see, Paul was always setting an example. And yes, he was always at the forefront, but he also brought up with him he was teaching. You remember, you think about men like Timothy and their relationship. It was always passing these things down to someone else. It was always setting an example, but there's got to be an example first. And so there's the setting of the stage, and then there's the bringing up with it. And I think Paul does this so beautifully. Earlier in my prayer, I mentioned that Jesus came to us, God in the flesh, the one who created us, created the disciples, and yet he stoops to wash their feet. And yet he continues to teach them and says, now you go and do this. You continue on serving each other in this way. You see, there's an example, and then there's passing that along to other generations. It's got to be both ends. It can't be simply bundling the sticks. It's also showing, I'm willing to do this work. I'm willing to do this work. That's the type of leader that Paul is. I think that's incredibly admirable and noble and right. There's also a downside that happens in this account, and that's that a viper jumps out of the heat. He throws the sticks on the fire, and of course this snake jumps out and attaches to his hand. And then you got some bad theology that comes out of it. The natives see this, and they say, undoubtedly this man is a murderer. So they just go from 0 to 60. Well, a snake bit his hand, therefore he must be a murderer. And they even say, justice, he can't hide from justice anymore. It's finally caught up with him. By the way, they are saying justice, capital J, it's a person, it's a title. They're talking about the pagan goddess of justice, Zeus's daughter. They're saying he can only run from her for so long that now justice has found him. He just got off of a ship that he should have died on. They're saying he's a murderer, he's a prisoner, and he survived the shipwreck, and so justice has finally called up to him. Terrible theology. Reminds me a lot of Job's friends. They are not good friends. They have terrible theology. And we do this today. Sometimes we might not say it out loud, but we still are guilty of this. Someone goes through something bad and we say, I wonder what they did to get them there. Someone goes through a horrific event in their life and they'll say, God, that's unfortunate, but I wonder what they did to make that happen. I wonder what they have done in this world or to someone or against God or how they anger God to allow this to happen. Terrible theology. So the worst theology I've ever heard is that type of mentality. Because just as Carol had a heartwarming story, are you willing to tell me that God does not allow these things? And put pieces together for these things to take forth for His glory as well? Is there not purpose in suffering? Is there not purpose in pain? Is there not testimony in pain? Some of you this morning have gone through hell and back. Some of you have faced fears of death. Some of you have got news in your life that has brought you to your knees. And as I look around, I start seeing specifics that I know of. And you know something? I give God praise for the things that you've gone through. Is it not worth it? Is it not worth for you to have a story, for you to have a testimony? You see there's purpose in what's about to happen? Do you see the pieces coming together? Do you see them being established? Because you already know where this message is going, because you know this story. You've heard it a million times. Paul gets a snake, and it bites on the arm, and he looks at it, and that's it. He just flicks it off. He just throws it back in the fire. You know, everybody has this idea of the end times, this big gigantic battle of God and the devil. Satan himself, there's this big apocalyptic crash, and there's this big brewing, all this kind of stuff going on. Do you know it's going to be a lot like that serpent that he just puts into the fire? This whole idea of it being this eternal struggle between God and the enemy is not what I see in Scripture. If anything, I see it kind of pictured in what God will do with the enemy. The same thing with Paul and the serpent. Hey, you're annoying me. What power does the enemy have? Nothing. It's the same thing that you just seen. The venom is gone. The death is gone. The sting is gone. We know all this. We know this from our Scriptures. And so they see this, and they're looking at Paul, and like, he's going to die. It's a poisonous snake. He's going to die. They're waiting on him to die. They're waiting for him to start swelling up. But then nothing happens, and then they say, wow, he must be a god. This man must be a god. It's just it's a remarkable thing. This has happened before already. If you remember Paul earlier in chapter 14, he heals, they start saying, oh my goodness, and they start worshiping him. He says, not for me. He gets mad. He says, let me point you to Christ. And he uses that as a platform for the gospel. And I can promise you, we don't see a clear definition of it, but I assure you, Paul used this as an opportunity to preach the word. You know, this is back to the miracles and signs. I feel like in Acts, we kind of got away from it for a little while. They're still going on. God's still at work. He's still controlling the seas. The miracles and signs are still happening, but not so on the nose. Well, here's one right here. Here's a sign. Here's a miracle right here in this very moment. We're reading from Mark 16. You remember this statement from Christ talking to his disciples. Mark 16, starting in verse 15. Here's what he says. And he said to them, go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. He who has believed and been baptized shall be saved, but he who has disbelieved shall be condemned. Okay, so hang on. There's a message, a command to go and to what? As Carol said, to go and tell the good news, be baptized, and then he continues on to his disciples. These signs will accompany those who have believed in my name. They will cast out demons. They will speak with new tongues. They will pick up serpents. And if they drink any deadly poison, it will not hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover. This is an apostolic age. It's not for us. I've seen snake handling before. You may have too. It's funny how they never use venomous snakes. I've always found that interesting. The reason for that, they don't do the other stuff that's being said there. They'll handle a non-poisonous snake. I digress. It's not for us today. It is for the apostles. It is for the disciples of that time. It is to send the message of the gospel and to get the wheels turning. And here you see it lived out in the Apostle Paul. A venomous snake fastens onto his hand. He flicks it back in the fire and looks at them and says, so what? And they're just staring at him. When's he going to start swelling up? When's he going to die? When's the murderer going to die? And they go from fickle theology of he's a murderer, and then seconds later, he's a god. Do you see how poor theology leads you down this path? You'll fall for anything in poor theology. He's a murderer, well, no, now he's a god. Just like that. There's a reason why he's perfectly fine. Because God is doing a sign, and He's doing a miracle, and God is allowing something, quote, bad happen to provide an opportunity and to provide a platform for the gospel to begin spreading right here in the island of Malta. It's incredible seeing what God will do. God is constantly at work. The same God who caused this snake to happen and to jump out of the fire and to bite Paul and to use that opportunity for a platform for the gospel is the same God who brought Carol next to that man at a gas station to be able to edify him and speak truth to him. He's not finished in this world. He's not done. And He's constantly doing these things and allowing these things and providing these opportunities. We just have to have the vision to see it. Your testimony matters. Your story matters. It means something. And that goes back to what's the purpose of the signs? What's the purpose behind these miracles and these wonders? It's to accompany those with the message of the gospel, to provide credibility for the Apostle Paul. Not to allow him to boast in the fact that he's a God, because he's not. But to point people towards Christ. So they may see something is different here with this man. Something's different with this person. He has a message and a story to tell. Let us listen. It just kicks the door in to allow people to lower their guard, possibly open up their heart and hear the gospel presentation, hear the gospel message, hear the good news of Christ. One moment. It's a terrific thing we see here. It's an unbelievable thing we see. And it's still going on in the world today. Maybe not in the same function, maybe not in the same format, maybe not in the same way. But God is still at work. Christ is still at work. We simply have to see how this is happening. So continue on. We're coming to a close already. We're wrapping up. Look with me at verse 7. So this is what I want to see the continuation. I want to see the continuation of what has just taken place. Okay? I want us to see what's happening. Was the snake bite, the venom, them thinking that he's a God. I assure you, Paul preached the gospel. I promise you, he preached the gospel to these people. I promise you, he preached the gospel to these people. And then what happens next? Which is the continuation starting in verse 7. Let's read for a moment. Let's go through verses 7 through 10. Now in the neighborhood of that place were lands belonging to the leading man of the island, named Publius, who welcomed us and entertained us courteously 3 days. And it happened, the father of Publius was lying in bed, afflicted with recurrent fever and dysentery. Nasty stuff. And Paul went in to see him, and after he had prayed, he laid his hands on him and healed him. After this had happened, the rest of the people on the island who had diseases were coming to him and getting cured. They also honored us with many marks of respect. And when we were setting sail, they supplied us with all that we needed. You know, we don't get a whole lot of information in terms of, well, was there a bunch of people that just, did revival break out and everyone became saved? We don't get that information. We don't get a whole lot of news about how many people may have turned to Christ, who had repented and believed. We don't get all that. But what we do get is exactly what God is always in the business of doing, and that is letting the gospel spread and go, and go, and go. You see signs and wonders accompany Paul on this journey. And now the prisoner, who was by worldly standards powerless and had nothing and had no freedom, is now the one who is freely displaying the power of God everywhere he goes, all the way wrong. A snake bites his hand, nothing happens. There's poison in his vein, nothing happens. When's the last time we've seen a healing in Acts? It's been a little while. And yet, nothing has changed for the Apostle Paul. He goes to the house, and this is an important man, by the way. Large estate, lots of stuff, very important figure. Like I said, God is good at being God. And God is good at getting his message out like a lighthouse. So he goes to this place. A terrible condition. Dysentery is no joke, and we can handle that a lot better in 2019. This is not pretty. It's quite gross, to be honest. Fever, goes in season, prays for him, and just as was told by Jesus to his disciples, and then also told to Paul in Revelation of himself, and unfolding himself to Paul and showing himself, we see this healing take place. And we see the promises of signs and wonders taking place. And we see purpose in it taking place to accompany the message of the gospel, to give credibility to the one who is telling the gospel, and to show that God is amazing, supernatural, a healer, eternal, that he's holy, that he's sufficient, that he's efficient, that he's perfect, powerful, mighty, everlasting. We can continue on. We can go on for hours. And you see a platform open up in the worst possible ways. Death, sickness, disease. And you see God right in the middle of it, providing a platform, offering a way, offering a bridge to the gospel. If you had a bad week this week, if you had bad days this past week, I can tell you that there are 2 times in which I had, quote, bad days, and I failed to use those to the glory of the Lord. There are also very bad days, incredibly difficult days. I'm convinced people are watching us and they're saying, you're having this terrible time. You have this strength in you during this terrible time. How do you do it? And the only answer is God. He's my vision, he's my fixation of my heart, he's what keeps me going. I'm powerless, left alone in my own hands. And the only thing that's keeping these wheels turning is the mercy and grace of the Lord. Don't be let down or disappointed that you're not getting bit by snakes. Who wants to get bit by a snake? Don't be disappointed by not getting bit by a snake and say, well, man, Paul's such a good story. I don't have that kind of story. That's not how this works. Charlie, you got a good story?
Amen.
Kathy, you got a good story? I'm convinced Martha's got a good story right now. There's some bad stuff people have gone through recently. God will use those for His glory. Don't worry about not getting the snake biting you on the head. Don't worry about not being able to raise the dead. Heal the sick. Just know that in your hard, difficult times, in your suffering, in your pain, there is purpose. There's opportunity. What's going to be your opportunity today? I'm convinced there's opportunities as soon as we leave this place. Maybe even in here today. Maybe someone needs encouragement. Maybe someone knows you're going through a difficult time. They're still seeing you tread on and be kingdom-minded. That does so much for your story. It does so much to show who God is. It does so much to show endurance during these times. Look for the opportunities. Look for them. Be active in seeking them out. I think we see a good example of that in Paul. In your own time, in your spare time, go back to chapter 28 and see how this differs from us. We kind of wait for these things to occur. Look what Paul does. As soon as they come, boom, I've got one. I've got a story to tell. I've got an opportunity. I've got a door to walk through. As soon as they happen, pushes through for the advance of the gospel. Let's be people thinking this way. We have to switch our mentality. I have to switch my mentality. I don't want to be a complainer. I want to be a proclaimer. I want to be someone who just takes the bat and runs with it and gets upset and vents. I want to be someone who uses it. That's part of my story. Who uses it for the glory of the kingdom. Who uses it for the glory of God. As many of you can do the same. I know that you can and have. Continue on. Let's keep thinking about this into 2019. Looking at all the opportunities we have to advance the gospel.